welcome back to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us online, especially during these social distancing times. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, follow me on Twitter, FB, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. So the new antibody testing for COVID-19 determines whether a person has had COVID-19 in the past. It's also expected to help guide the reopening of the economy. And many people are still without jobs, and the need for rent relief is needed now more than ever. Joining us to discuss these topics, we welcome New York State Senator of the 33rd District, Senator Gustavo Rivera. Hello, Senator.
Hello, it is a pleasure to see you. And I thought that this was going to be the case, but yes, your energy is so much, it even comes through the screen.
So, I appreciate that.
Because I'm usually doing this in person with you. So I definitely miss being next to your level of energy. So I'm glad to at least see it a little bit on the screen.
Well, I appreciate that really more than you know, because yes, I too am feeling the aftermath of the social distancing. As you know, I'm a people person. I love being around people. I also happen to be an affectionate person. And so, if we were in each other's presence, I would be giving you a hug, even though you're a senator, and the formalities are to shake hands, but it's all about affection. And so thank you for stating that it's radiating through our video conferencing.
Yes. The future. We're in the future right now.
It appears so. So, Senator Gustavo Rivera,
yep. Let's
open up with just sharing with everyone the initiative that I think really brought us, allowed us to become more familiar with each other. And that was the Bronx Can initiative, in which you were one of the spearheads, right? You spearheaded that together with the Bronx Borough President. And the reason I want to open up with that is because based on your current position of being the co-chair, right? You're
the chair of the Health Committee in the Senate.
You're the chair of the Health Committee in the Senate. And so tell me how one led to the other and where we are now in the Bronx.
Well, so back in 2011, I launched what you're referring to as the Bronx Can Health Initiative, which was the goal was to really talk about some of the healthcare disparities that existed in the Bronx and have existed, not just in the Bronx, but in communities of color across the state and the country. But we wanted to focus right here in our home borough. And it was to talk about the disparities that existed and talk about some of the things that we could do individually, but then talk about the things that we needed to do structurally to change to actually make people's lives healthier and better. And the reason why that's so essential to understand is that this was back in 2011, right? There's an organization that's called the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. It's a think tank that does public health ratings. And for something like 9 years in a row, I believe 10 years in a row, the Bronx is actually ranked lowest in all sorts of indices related to health. And so as it relates to our current situation, many of us were not surprised. We're heartbroken, but we're not surprised that some of the deaths, most of the deaths have occurred in communities of color, and the rates of death and infection have been much higher in communities that have lacked access to affordable and quality healthcare. This is not a surprise. So talking about these healthcare disparities, the goal was always to say, these are things that are happening that are long-term things that we need to address, and we need to face them. And what this crisis has brought more in focus is the absolute necessity to actually not just talk about them, but actually do something about them and really invest real resources to be able to turn back these healthcare disparities, because we see when a situation like this happens, we get the worst of it. And that's what's particularly painful.
And so, since becoming the chair of the New York State Senate's Health Committee, what kind of policies have you implemented to assist, especially where we are right now during this pandemic crisis?
Well, there's a lot of small and medium-sized things that I have been working on since on a day-to-day basis, the Health Committee. There's a lot of small and medium policy changes that need to be done to our public health system, which is very complicated. But there's one thing that I have been focused on, and now I'm going to double down on, and that is to pass the New York Health Act. This is a piece of legislation that I've sponsored for the last couple of years, and it seeks to establish a single payer system in the state of New York. Now, what this means simply is guaranteeing universal access to healthcare to every single person who is a New Yorker, regardless of their age, their wealth, their immigration status. We believe that healthcare is a human right. And this crisis right now demonstrates so clearly that the system that we've had, the idea that your job is the one thing that connects to what type of healthcare you have access to. And it's not just whether you're employed or not, it's whether you're employed in the right job. The notion that that's how we're going to be, that's how we should go forward is nuts. I mean, we see what happens right now. There's literally millions of people across the country who overnight, through no fault of their own, have lost their jobs, therefore have lost access to healthcare. We need to go in a different direction, and the New York Health Act is the way to do it. So what I have been pursuing for the last couple of years, I'm going to double down on. We need to secure universal access to people, and the New York Health Act is the way to do that.
So with regards to the antibody testing that is occurring right now, do people need health insurance for that?
Well, right now, as I understand it, no. The problem is that, there's somebody that I know personally whose sister, and thank God, her sister is good now. Her sister is in her 30s, healthy, young. She caught coronavirus. She was intubated with a ventilator for about 2 weeks, but she came out of it. She's recuperating. She is back home, but now the bills have started to arrive, and I just got a picture of somebody sending me $75,000.
Oh my goodness!
$75,000 they owe the hospital now, and this is a person who is insured. So as far as the antibody test is concerned, so we should talk about a couple of different things. As far as the antibody test, one thing that I want to make sure that I tell everyone. Just because you're getting an antibody test does not mean that you're immune, okay? We do not have enough evidence to determine that. It is important that we get the antibody test done because there's two different types of tests. The diagnostic test, which determines whether you have the virus or not, and the antibody test, which determines if you had the virus and have now survived it. But the problem is that there's different strains of this virus, that there's a lot of false positives, which means that you might get a test and it might not necessarily be accurate. So this is not a license for you to say, hey, I'm immune, I can go and do whatever I want. We need that information to be able to reopen because we need to track it. We need to know who has the disease and who's had the disease. So the antibody test is important, but it does not mean that you are immune. And whether it's going to be covered by insurance, for the moment, you should be able to get it. But insurance companies have a way of changing the rules on you. And so I'm really concerned about relying on a system in the long term in which insurance companies are in the middle of it.
So, okay, well, thank you, because you just summed it all up with regards to the importance of getting tested, both for the coronavirus as well as the antibody and the reopening of our economy. But before we go, I want to mention the insulin bill that you were also passing, right? Because you're really trying to assist our community in a way that we really shouldn't be concerning ourselves with finances. And there's also the issue of the rent strike. I mean, not the rent strike, but how about let's just skip on rent?
So there's a lot there, right? To talk about rent for a second, it is essential that we cancel rent. There's a couple of different pieces of legislation that we're looking at right now. Although the governor could actually do a lot of this through direct action, he seems to insist that he has already taken care of it, that he has, because there is a 90-day moratorium that we're in the middle of right now, that nobody can get evicted during those 90 days. But I'm already dealing with constituents who are getting letters from their landlord saying, when the 90 days are up, I'm coming after you. And they wrote it in a letter. So we need to go in a different direction. There's millions of people who cannot pay their rent because they don't have a job, because they can't go to work right now, for their own safety and for the safety of others. So we cannot pressure them. We need to change that. We need to cancel the rent. And as it relates to the insulin bill really quickly, It is a bill that I passed. I've passed a version of this bill in the budget, and what it does, it caps the amount that somebody would pay on a monthly basis for a type of insulin. Right now, we capped it at $100, which is a good move, but we need to go to $30. Some diabetics use different types of insulin every month, and if we don't cap each type of them, each type of medicine, each type of insulin, they might go to $100, $200, $300 a month. So in a moment like this, where particularly with this is a life-sustaining medication, we need to secure access to it. So that's kind of some of the things that I've been working on. That's a bill that I introduced to cap it at 30 per type of insulin.
Okay, and so in closing, I'm just going to mention to everyone that you also offer this employment bulletin that is available by, I guess, reaching out to you.
Yep. If you go, we put out an employment bulletin. We've done it in the past. This is a special edition, so to speak, which has resources for people that are seeking unemployment benefits. And I know it is difficult right now, but we are here to assist you. You can contact my office. If you contact me by email, grivera@nysenate.gov, and I'm hoping that it's underneath us at this moment. If you send us an email right there, we will send you the employment bulletin, which will include not only information about unemployment benefits, but also some opportunities for some places that are hiring during this time, right? So that is all in the employment bulletin. And my office, which is also, the number should be right here, 718-933-2034. My office continues to be open. We are virtually open and helping constituents every single day. Let us know about the issues that you have with your landlord. We'll try to help with unemployment, resources for, if you like food access, we can help with that. Access for teaching your kid at home. We're providing all this assistance virtually. So please be in contact with us and realize that I'm still here to serve you. My staff is still here to serve you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Senator Gustavo Rivera. You guys, once again, for more on Senator Gustavo's employment bulletin and the resources, you can visit grivera@nysenate.gov, and also you can call 718-933-2034 and follow him on Instagram and Twitter @NYSenatorRivera. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about a new campaign that's going to help small business industry owners. Don't go anywhere.